Well, now the music world is in mourning this Friday. The king of blues, guitarist and singer B.B. King has died at the age of 89. Well, he began performing in the 1940s and went on to influence a generation of musicians. Let's take a listen.
Hey, everybody, let's have some fun. You only live but once, and when you're dead, you're done. Let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. I don't care if you're young or old.
All right, well, that was the performer B.B. King there. And for more on his life and career, I'm joined in the newsroom by France 24's music critic Mark Thompson. Now, Mark, of course, this is quite a big loss to the music industry.
Yes, very much so. He is the king. That's what people refer to him if you speak to contemporary blues musicians, and rightly so. This is a man who modernized blues music. He brought it in. And when you speak to people of my generation, even older generations, this is what blues sounds like. This is what I use as an example of, if people say, oh, well, give me an example of an artist in the blues genre. Okay, you've got Blind Willie Johnson, you've got Robert Johnson, you've got these classic names, but this is modern blues. He's influenced rock and roll, he's influenced artists all the way along, and he's prolific as well. He not only for his body of work, but also for his performances. Up until last year, 2014, when he was 88, he was still doing 100 shows a year. I couldn't do 100 shows a year right now. I think spending an hour and a half on stage. So to have that kind of stamina, just the talent as well to pull it off is absolutely incredible. It's somewhat fitting that he has died 3 days after B.B. King Day, which is being held in Memphis, Tennessee, by his hometown. And so that a lot of people sent in their well wishes because he hasn't been well for a few weeks. So it was nice to see that outpouring of love for him in a town where he has such a close connection.
Yes, you mentioned that he hasn't been well. He was actually recently taken to hospital with some diabetes-related illnesses. But you mentioned that he's worked with everybody. He's inspired generations of musicians, and he really brought blues into really modern era, if you will.
Yes, very much so. His influence is just so deep in rock and roll. Look at the Rolling Stones. They took him on tour back in '69 when actually not many people were listening to B.B. King at the time. He lost a lot of young black audiences through the rise of Motown and funk and soul, but he just kept on doing his thing. He kept on making B.B. King music. And it's a real inspiration for modern musicians today. This is a guy who made his career at a time when he didn't really have to be anything other than a good musician. And he was a great musician, one of the greatest guitarists of all time. And when you put him next to the likes of Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton, they wanted to play with him. That speaks volumes.
Yeah, they went to him, they gravitated towards him.
Exactly. And they asked him on tour and they asked him to contribute to their records. And it's just one example of the loss that we'll now have. I don't know what future blues musicians are going to do. They're just going to have to do covers of his songs all the way through.